What would be, nerds and virgins? Welcome back to another dumbass video. Today we're looking at this custom Motu style Vegeta. This will be the first custom featured on my channel that is actually done by me. I think it turned out pretty well. Unfortunately, I didn't actually record me doing the process of it. So today we're just going to be talking about how I did it, showing where I got some of these parts from, because I say custom loosely, it's more of a kit bash custom. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I think it turned out pretty well, and let's get into actually explaining how this was done. So let's go. So as far as where I got this head from, it was from a figure that I had since I was a kid. I recently just found out it was actually a movie collection figure made by If Labs in 2002. I thought it was always made by Jax, just because Jax always made like extremely Jax figures, but I guess not. Figure looked really good, and I just was trying to get rid of things, and I thought, fuck it, why not use it for a custom? And I think it turned out really good. Looks really good. Of course, that's not your only option. You have this loyal subject figure here. Benefit with this one, of course, is it's a bit more cartoony, and it has a scouter, so if you're going a bit more for that evil side of Vegeta, it definitely would work. Downside with it is you most definitely need a Dremel to make the hole a bit bigger inside his neck. But, both options I think would look good. I think it turned out pretty well. But I like the way mine turned out, so yeah. I think they both would look great though. Let's move on. The armor itself came from a statue. It was a shitty knockoff statue. Which I originally thought all the clothes would come off of it, but it didn't, unfortunately. So I can't really recommend you buying that. I would just buy it off a separate piece. I'm sure there's other options out there of just buying a bit of armor like that. But yeah, I think it turned out alright though. But let's move on to... As far as the clothes goes, I actually got it off a dude off of eBay, which I want to give him a huge thank you. When I bought them originally, I use 1/12 scale accessories for most of my Motu figures, whether it's swords, if I'm buying like custom pieces online, whether it's swords, it's clothes, it's anything really, I usually go up to 1/12 just because these Motu figures are usually 5.5 inches, but because of the Origins lines, they're around 6 inches, because usually they were 5.5 inches because of when they were crouched down like this. Yeah, that's 5.5 inches, but obviously when you have the ability to stand them up, they are 6 inches. And they all vary in size. I mean, this one's probably going to be one of the tallest ones because of his fucking hair. But I want to give him a huge thank you, because originally when I bought the clothing, I had actually bought the pants for 1/12, but the shirt I accidentally bought 1/6, and because I had bought from this guy before, he messaged me and was like, hey, just so you know, you bought a 1/6 and a 1/12. I'm not sure if you meant to do that. And I mentioned him back and was like, no, I actually meant to buy both 1/12. Would you mind just exchanging that out? And he said, yeah, sure. He said, is blue fine? I'm like, yeah, that's the color I want. And I'm just extremely grateful for that, because he really could have been a dick and not even messaged me, and just, well, wouldn't have been a dick, but he could have just not messaged me at all and just, sent it out. And then I'd have been like, fuck, when I received it in the mail. Also, the dude shipped it out pretty quickly, and it arrived obviously in really good condition. I just cut it down. I cut the clothing down to make it look like he was a bit more beat up and stuff. Unfortunately, I cut it a little too much down, as you can see in the back here. I mean, I could always just say, it's a crop top or whatever, but... Ooh, well, there you go. You just split it now. But yeah, I did have to glue some of the bit of the t-shirt down. Actually, I glued some of the pants down, and then I glued the torso piece or the armor over the t-shirt. So that's this figure is permanently Vegeta now. But yeah, I think it looks great. I think I like the way it came out. But let's get into the body I used. What? As far as the body goes, I used this Ultimate Warrior. Of course, I didn't use the boots on it, and I'll get a little bit into later on what boots I did use. But I just removed all his accessories for the most part, and that's what I used for the blank for the body. Obviously I used a fucking Motu style figure, and that's obviously this one. But the main reason I used it is just because I was really looking for a fucking body that would match Vegeta's skin tone, since it wasn't really That's like my only concern was, because obviously when it comes to 5.5 figures, pretty much everyone has the same body as far as humans, unless it's like I don't know, unless obviously it's monsters or something. Because for the most part, Mattel just uses the same blank body, and it's not that it's a bad thing, just that's the way they do it. But yeah, I just used his body. I took off all of his accessories. One of the main reasons I actually decided to bloody it up is because as I was heating it up to pop the head on, I accidentally chipped this, so I decided to add some blood to it, and I'll get into explaining how I did that a little bit later. But yeah, I think the body works fine. Obviously, it has the same articulation as most Motu figures, and obviously same muscle mass and everything like that. If you are going to use this loyal subject figure, like I said earlier, whether you're using the Super Saiyan one, because I know there's a Super Saiyan one of this one. This was one that I just bought a while back, and I'm pretty sure you could use this. You're definitely gonna have to use a different body, because if you really pay attention, actually not even really pay attention, it's pretty evident that these two have completely different skin tones. Like, yeah, sure, they're both white, but it's definitely not the same skin tone white. Like, I thought he would maybe work with a He-Man, because He-Man's a bit more tan, but even that way, I don't think this one would work too well. So I'm not quite sure what body you would want to use for him. Like I said, with this one, even with this one, there was a bit of a difference, and I mean a tiny bit of difference, where you'd have to really, really be paying attention. I remember I asked one of my friends, and he was like, dude, you'd have to be like really on some shit to like really pay that much attention to notice it was different. Because he said there is a very slight difference. Now it's even less noticeable because I gave it a black wash with paint. But yeah, this is the fucking blank body I used. Here's the paints I use for the blood. I use Citadel color contrast, blood angels red, apparently. I ordered this off of eBay, admittedly, but I really should have just went into a local shop. There's a shop near me that I should have just went into originally, just because they have it. And I remember I walked in and I saw that they had it. I was like, man, I should just fucking ordered it. I should have just bought it from here. And it's just like a lot of like Warhammer places that have like Warhammer things and little miniatures and things like that will have this type of paint. So if you have a store like that near you, I would just go in and buy it from there. As far as the black that I used, obviously I used acrylic black paint. And all I did, if you're wondering where the black paint is, I just used it as a wash to kind of dirty the figure up for the face and whatnot. The main reason I decided to put blood in was because, for one, in the face itself, there was a couple of splotches where I kind of had to go back in and do some blood, because unfortunately, you know, the figure itself that I had indents of them, because that's how the figure is manufactured. These are like actual indents into it, and I didn't care for the color of red that they were using for blood, so I went in with a toothpick and just, you know, obviously put a dab of paint on it and kind of went into there, and then went into where the teeth are at, obviously with the little scratch kind of shit right here with that little like cross effect. And then after that, the other reason I started to add more blood in, because, like, as I said earlier, I chipped this in the arm, and I thought, why not just add blood to it to make it seem like it's chipped for a reason. So then I started to add blood in the spots where it was, I cut a little too much, admittedly, on some of these spots, obviously right here and right here. And I just decided to give it some more blood to, you know, make it look like he had been battling for a while. And like I said, just a black wash with, a wash with some black paint. And if you're wondering how you do that exactly, it's real simple. You just get some black paint, put some water with it, and just, so it's real watered down, and just paint it all over the figure, basically, and it just gives it that, like, real dirty look. And I like it because he looks like he's been in a battle for a while. Some people may prefer it without it, because you want that cartoon vibe, you want the colors to be vibrant and stuff, but I just like the grittiness of Vegeta. That's always been my appeal. It's why he's always been my favorite character, personally, and it's just extremely pridefulness has always been my favorite aspect of him. But yeah, what up? As far as these effects go, I bought them primarily on eBay. The only shitty thing about this thing that lights up underneath it, unfortunately, is it doesn't have an on and off switch. So you just have it plugged in, it's just fucking plugged in and lights up like a motherfucker. And the main reason that sucks for me personally is I wouldn't mind having things plugged in 24/7 if it's an on and off switch. But it's kind of a hassle because where I have it set up is on top of a shelf, and the wires will be running behind my TV, and because of that, it's very much of an inconvenience to have to unplug and plug it in. And not only that, but again, with not being an on and off switch, I actually sleep in this room. So, as an example, just to make the point, I'll go and turn off the lights, and you can see how bright this damn thing still shines. As you can see my point here. The blast effect also does light up, but it just most definitely is not as bright as the effect from over here. As I'll show you guys. That's the only other bad part about it. Obviously, this lights up as well, as y'all can see. Now, these things you could probably buy off of anyone really on eBay. The only shitty part is this blast effect. You will probably never find another one. Those were completely custom pieces I just happened to find. And I want to give a shout out to the dude who sold them to me. Not because he gave me an exclusive deal or anything. He had these on auction. I just bid on them. No one else bid, so I won them. It actually came with two. But I just want to give him a shout out because I messaged him after 3 days of these not being shipped, because I'm a very impatient person, and I'm one of those people where even if I sell something on eBay, I want to ship it out within 3 days because that's the limitation usually eBay gives me. And I'm one of those people who definitely appreciates when other people do that as well. But I just happened to message the guy and be like, hey, just, not to be a dick or anything, but just was just like, hey, when are you going to ship it out? And he messaged me back saying he will ship it out tomorrow. But the main reason I'm giving him a shout out is because he actually told me that I guess his place had gotten flooded. And it sucked hearing that, because obviously it's someone who's experiencing some shit right now. And it was just kind of sad to hear that. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I didn't know. But he still shipped it out, and that's why I really want to give him a shout out. I'll try and insert his eBay account in here somewhere. Hopefully I remember. But yeah, it's just a real unfortunate thing that he's going through that, and I just was extremely grateful that he was still able to find a way to ship this out to me. And yeah, I just felt kind of bad because of that. But yeah. On the brighter side, I guess, if you do want one of these light up things that I have, obviously lighting up Vegeta illuminating the back, I would suggest getting, because I already ordered a HDMI on and off switch cord, which is how I'm gonna have it, because the way I have them up, I'm gonna have them in my Motu display. Yeah, it's gonna make make it easier on me, because that's a very big of a bitch as of now to deal with. Especially, again, there's no lights on in my room right now, and this thing is lighting up my whole damn room. So yeah, just wanted to give that in. But yeah, let's send this video off really quick. Wanted to insert myself into here. Truthfully, this video to me is just kind of a bit of remembering Akira Toriyama. By creating obviously one of my favorite characters in another very popular show, I guess, style, or just toy style, at least is what I'd prefer to call it. But obviously, Akira Toriyama has touched so many people with his creations, let alone just with Dragon Balls. He's just pretty much taken over the whole Hispanic community. And me being Hispanic myself, I definitely grew up with that influence. It's very sad, to see him pass, especially so young, and not only just like because he's the creator of Dragon Balls, but just to see a fellow human being pass away is always shitty. It doesn't matter if someone's famous or not. When someone dies, to a certain point, we should kind of try and not inherently always just be dumb on our luck because they died, but kind of at least send some remorse to a certain point, because there's definitely good people who die every day, unfortunately, and we don't know them because they're not famous and shit. But yeah, Akira Toriyama's work as far as Dragon Ball has influenced me a whole lot. I was a kid who grew up broke. Still, not inherently rich. I'm still not inherently rich now. I wouldn't be living here. I'll tell you that much right now if I was. Um, but every Saturday his show would be on the Saturday morning cartoons and shit, and it was one of the only reasons I'd actually get up early was to watch Dragon Balls and see Goku and Vegeta fighting, or them fighting the newest villain. Many of the times I'd be watching Dragon Ball Z Kai, especially since that was the newest thing. And many of the times I was watching it on like Vortex and 4Kids and things like that. It was Dragon Balls that was really the influence that got me into anime, dad, and like Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, of course, I'm not as into anime as I used to be now, but still, it's definitely an influence that is carried on with me as far as work ethic. Some of the messaging in just Dragon Balls was just amazing, and it, again, it just sucks to see someone so young and so talented pass away. And yeah, man, I mean, may he rest in peace. It's just kind of a shitty thing, and hopefully his memory will live on forever. So, yeah.
Hello, monkeys.
Really quickly here, I just wanted to just kind of show the Motu display that I have where the Vegeta's going. Just because I think it's cool when YouTubers, I wish more YouTubers would do this, but show where the thing that they just bought is going, especially in their collections when it comes to action figures. So obviously, there's the Vegeta right there. Obviously, with all this clutter, blasting Frieza in the back. This whole thing is supposed to be an amalgamation of all my interests kind of combined, especially with the idea of just good versus evil. I just think it's really cool. Obviously, you got this Tupac here and whatnot, but I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and just kind of show you.